Sorry about that, guys. YouTube wasn't cooperating with me. Let's see what we got going here. Make sure that I'm still up and running. I need to pull this over here. Stupid YouTube just doesn't want to cooperate anymore. Let's see. There we are. All right. I've already wetted this out in the bathtub, hot water. And need to get some of that stuff off there. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap it around my mold butt here. Put the center line that I put on this before, we're going to put that center line right in the center of this mold buck. We'll pin that right there. And on this end, be careful because this stuff, especially 16th, is just really flimsy stuff. And we'll pin this. Split. No worries though. Pin that right there. I had a little mishap here with the sheeting coming unglued, it looked like. We'll just tack it here on the edge. Be careful not to get CA on the foam, because it will definitely eat up the foam. Good enough. We can fix that later on. If you look here, I cut my mold bucks an inch bigger than what they needed to be. So I use an ace bandage. Some guys like to use bed sheets or pillowcases or whatever. Whatever you like to use it. Now, because I'm only working on this, I'm not working on this for speed. It's really given me an opportunity to do some things that I wouldn't normally do, because when I build an airplane, I just rifle right through it. I get it done. But this one here, because it's a nostalgic airplane, and I'm trying some new things, and I'm going to explain this wing setup to you because I got it laid out and ready to go. And I don't expect you to build your Tucker Special like this, because I just happen to have, my friend has foam cutting equipment. Otherwise, I would have just built this wing the normal way, C or D tube, and I'd have been done already. But all this extra work, I mean, there's no, I'm not in a race. I'm not going to, the vintage stunt championships or anything like that. I just want an airplane that really performs well. And I think that's what I'll have when I put this little 32 in it. And try to build it under 40 ounces. So I can add 10 ounces of lead to the CG, like somebody I know. Not gonna happen. So this buck here is going to sit till tomorrow. Now Rusty's recovering. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to host a hangout tomorrow night. I think I'm just going to do a Tucker special build hour, and we'll wait for Rusty to come back hopefully by Friday. Most of my day-to-day was spent working on my buddy's airplane, his Yatsenko, the conversion on that. So there you go. That's how I wrap the mold buck. We'll do one today, and I'll do one tomorrow. I haven't made the other sheeting, but I wanted to get this set up so I could do this test. This is a test build that I'm doing here. Never engineered a wing like this, so I don't know if it's going to work. So build one half and see how it works. And that'll give me an idea whether it's worth it to do it on a full scale, a full-size stunt plane. How much weight it adds and whether it's going to get rid of this starved horse look. I'm going to show you a few things here and explain to you why. Okay, we're going to set this aside to dry and take a look at the wing, what I got done so far. Now, I did work in John's shop this weekend for a few hours on Saturday to get the things done that I can't do here. Okay, let's focus this down here. All right, this is my leading edge. If you'll notice, I have a groove here, wherever the ribs go, there's a notch, and it only goes about a third of the way down in the spar. So this spar maintains its integrity, and already this leading edge is pretty stout. Then I made landing gear clips, and I'm going to tell you, I made these landing gear clips. These are for the outboard wingtip, and they're undercut 1/16 of an inch. You can undercut them 1/8 of an inch if you can get wood to go around the corner. But then they're capped with 16th inch balsa wood. And you go, well, why would you do that? Well, when I glued these in here, I block sanded that 16th flat. If you have a piece of hardwood and you run it up into the sheeting like this, come summertime, when it sits one time out in the sun, you'll be able to see that line. You still might be able to see this line, but it has a better chance of not being able to see it. The center rib is glued to the spar and to the foam. Now this rib will be removed. It'll be cut there and cut here, but this is going to keep this thing straight. The wing tip rib will be cut and glued to this as well. So then I'm going to lay the trailing edge in, which I could cut right now. Let's see here. 16th. And did I put the good stuff back in here or the bad stuff? This is 10, one straight grain. See, this is good here. This is good A grain. This appears to be like decent stuff. Straight grain. That's what we're looking for. So the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut a couple of trailing edges and some shim wood. Let's set this out of the way. If you have a question, please type it into the box. Ask me a question. I'm not even going to bother opening it up to a chat afterwards because nobody's ever come on, so no sense in wasting time. Okay. So we're going to true up one edge here. I need to find my scalpels. They're sharper than these X-Acto knives. I need to take this off too. I can't stand it. My little sanding tools, I got to get that off of there. You'll notice that didn't relieve bow or anything when I cut that off that sheet. That means this is a good stable piece of wood for a trailing edge. If you use a piece of wood that immediately bows when you cut it free, you're going to have a warp in the wing. So I like to save wood. Instead of making my trailing edges 1 inch wide, I make them 3/4 wide. And when I cap them with 1/8 or 1/4, that makes them a full inch wide. So we're going to make a mark at 3/4. They all get built into a box anyway. Make a mark at 3/4. I don't have a whole lot of time in this airplane. If you guys have been following along and building, I mean, seriously, I figure by the end of this month, we'll be together, even at an hour a day. That's why I don't like to hear that. There's no time. Yeah, well, I don't have any time either. All right, let's take a look down it and see what happened. It stayed perfectly straight, so that's a good one. Cut another one, 3/4 of an inch. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing with this camera angle. Yeah, I could make a edited movie, lighting and all that other stuff. I just don't have the time. It's hard to be the star, the producer, the editor, and everything. So let's see, I had a bell crank sitting up here. There it is. I was going to use my good 7-gram bell crank in this, but I think I'm just going to use one of the Tom Morris bell cranks. I would like to build this airplane so that the average guy could get the same results that I get. The only thing different is this wing layout. What happened to the knife? I just set it down. Now, that's a bad thing of not having any room to work. Here it is. That and getting old. Okay, let's look at this and see what happened. It stayed perfectly straight. So we have two pieces that are the same size. Now I need a shim. I need a couple of shim pieces. I think I'll cut those. No, I'll just go ahead and cut them with this. Actually, this is such a good piece. I'm going to save that for a trailing edge on the other side. That's light stuff. Here's, you look here, the grain is kind of going crazy. We'll use the crazy grain stuff for the shim pieces. So I need a shim for under the spar and one at the leading edge. Yeah, see that piece warped when it came off the, it bowed when it got cut free. Really bowed. So now we need a shim piece for the leading edge. I'll cut a couple of ribs. Wow, got hard. Okay. I've already selected the wood for sheeting and ribs, but I didn't select any trailing edge wood. All right, so here's my scrap wood. Can't have enough of that. All right. Now I haven't cut any of the ribs except for this center rib. This wing will go together super fast once all the parts are cut. So what we want to do here, we want to pin this trailing edge right on the edge of the wing buck. Keep it as straight as possible, right flush with the wing buck. These are movies to go to sleep with, so if I'm boring you, find Wendy. All right. Now we're cut free from that. I can't, normally in a lost foam wing, I pin this, but I can't. But I still have to have it there. And that will become more apparent here as we go. So let's put that under the spar. And right there. Okay, you ask, why did I put these up here? Well, I'm shimming the trailing edge rib up 1/16 of an inch with the trailing edge. So in order to keep the wing straight, you have to simulate the wing sheeting on the front. Now the nice thing about this thing is I can pin it right to the buck. I've thought about this wing so many times it's ridiculous. That and the X-Wing, which I will be doing eventually. So we're keeping the leading edge square with the leading edge of the foam cradle. And we'll pin that right down on that end. I don't need all this excess, so I'll cut that off. Okay. So here's the beginning of the wing. Now I've selected the wood for the sheeting and the ribs. That's a rib. I guess I must have had this turned over. Yep. These three are for the sheeting. Oh, this thing's gonna be a whole lot lighter than what I thought. Hopefully we're not getting any out of focus stuff. It's not even gonna take all this wood to make this wing. And we had that weighed in at 6 ounces, all this wood and foam and leading edge, and it was at 6 ounces. So this wing might come out 4 ounces. We'll see how much glue I put on it. All right, so I want to cut a rib. And I've sliced this foam cradle into this shape. John and I did. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rough it out, pin it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ribs is all we're getting in it. 9 plus the 2 landing gear clips is 11 ribs total. And I'll hear, that ain't gonna work. Yeah, it'll work fine. Let me show you. I'm blocking this in. That'll work fine. You can be more precise if you like. Not really a need for it, but some people are super critical. But it doesn't matter because we're going to sand it to this shape anyway. Keep the grain straight, fore to aft. We got any comments? Nope, no comments. Got a lot of watchers, but no comments. Now I've taken the liberty over John's to cut these slots, and I cut it with 3 razor blades taped together, which is approximately the size of a 16th, 3 saw blades actually. Could have probably done it with 2, but wanted to give myself enough slop to make sure I get that on there right. Like I say, this is an experimental wing. We'll see how it goes. No clue. Should work fine though. It's only wood. If it doesn't work, I'll build it the D tube or C tube way. But I will have a Tucker special for next year. The guy who campaigned this model, Ron O'Toole, We used to hang out together, and everything he told me how good this airplane was, we're going to find out. This blade is getting dull. Okay. It is the nice thing about doing it this way. These ribs are so easy to cut out and get perfect because you're just sanding down to the foam. So this is a combat tucker. So I won't bore you with all the sanding of all these ribs tonight. I'll probably do those off camera because it's repetition. It's the same thing over and over, but I will install one of these ribs. I won't glue it in. I just lay it in because I'm going to have to put the holes in them and everything. So there's should have done R3 on this block here. But what'll happen is I'll probably do one side in this cradle, flip it over and put the other side in because the notches are staggered. Okay, there's one rib sanded to shape. So now I have to notch it. So this rib goes right here. But I have to cut a notch in the thing so it fits perfect. So if you don't, it's an 1/8 of an inch longer because we have an 1/8 of an inch spar in here. So this notch comes down to right here to make a tick mark. Now, you guys can measure this stuff. I don't. I just eyeball it. I can see an 1/8 of an inch, a 1/16 of an inch. And it just doesn't have to be that perfect. Boy, this knife is dull. Better get a razor blade. Okay, I've just notched that rib 1/8 of an inch. Eighth of an inch notch in that. And that slides in to that groove right there. I think there's a little something in that groove. There we go. That didn't come off. That's what it was. I'll just pin it there for now. But you kind of get the drift of what's going on here. That looks like it's going to work real good. I need to do the center. Let's see. So the center is this one. I'll do the center and then we'll call it a night. I don't want to bore you guys with too much stuff. Let me draw it with the pen and then cut it out. There it is. And I absolutely hate I don't have any room to work. And really make it go fast if you got room. I don't want to sand this one much because I'm going to cut it closer. Tomorrow night when we return, what will happen is I will take that sheeting that I've just wrapped up tonight and we'll glue it onto this leading edge. That way I'll answer Steve Hines' question. So we have the center. Now, went this way. Now, even though I cut it close to that line, you can still feel a few thousand sticking above that foam rib. And you don't want that. You want this thing to fit perfect. And that's the nice thing about this wing building system, and a big kudos to Bob Hunt for coming up with it. Because you're not going to get any more accurate than that unless you do it laser cut. You know, we got guys on here building carbon fiber airplanes and all that. That's all well and good if you got $1 million worth of machinery and you're willing to spend $2,000 to $3,000 on material plus the time, know how to run the programs. I mean, come on, this is supposed to be for the average guy to do. That was the whole thing behind the builder of the model, was because back in the 60s, Dad was building the kids' airplanes. They still cheated anyway, but we knew they're not going to stop people from cheating. There's people cheating now. I hate it, but nobody's got the backbone to stand up to them. Okay, let's see. We got this is up. This is up. Mark the notch. Actually, I need to take this out, mark the notch, because it'd be easier. All these ribs need to be hollowed yet. Ten ribs is going to be pretty light. It'll be pretty light. Anyway, you get the idea of what's going on here. Then, of course, the top, where the heck is it? The top piece of trailing edge will go on this. It'll get boxed in from behind with the wood fillers. In it. Yep. And the leading edge sheeting will be joined to it. It'll all lock up. The center sheeting will be to here, and then the cap strips. And I'm only going to have 3/16 cap strips. And of course, the solid wing tips that we're really like. So that's how that works. The trailing edge cap will go here. It gets a full rib on the wing tip. The block wing tip will get glued to that, hollowed. These should end up 7 grams when they're done. This is extremely good wood. It's 4-pound wood. Super light stuff. So I don't know. I didn't see the camera. I hope I had it focused enough that you could get an idea of what's going on. I'm not getting any feedback from anyone, so I got to make sure this is sanded to the correct shape. I'll have to look at this one before I go any farther. Seems like it's a little hefty on the back half. I want everything to fit perfect. Yeah, see, it is. It's a little heavy on the trailing edge. So I will pin that to this and clean it up. Don't be difficult. Can't hang with difficult today. So let's see, this one. I want everything to be super perfect when it's done. As an homage to Bob Tucker. I did one for Tom Warden, now we gotta do one for Bob Tucker. Okay. Anybody that's seen my Continental knows it's super nice. Of course, it's taken a pretty good beating over the years now. But that's just the way it goes. Okay. They're right on the line. We pin that to that. This should be the last time this has to come in and has to come off. What happened here? Must have the wrong one in the wrong spot. There we do. More better. Let's feel this. That'll be good. I surely don't like using 16th for building wings. God, it's flimsy. Got too used to using 3/32. Yeah, we'll get it all pinned together before we glue it. It looks like the system is going to work good though. It should be super twist resistant. Anyway, if there's any questions, you can ask me on Stunhanger. You can drop me a note here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the videos. I know there's guys writing me letters saying they like this series, so we'll see what happens. So anyway, tomorrow night I'll probably be on around 8 o'clock, I guess, 7, 8 o'clock, and we'll run for, I don't know, an hour or whatever. It's hard to talk to yourself. I need to make that out of that one. Yeah, I think this is going to be nice. So remember, anytime you're making these ribs here like this, band them with 16th or 3/32 or 1/8 inch, whatever you can get to go around the rib, and then when you get it into the area where it's up against the sheeting, you can block it, and it won't show those ribs, or it'll slow it down some, I should say. I've tried everything there of these stupid airplanes to keep them from looking like crap over the years, but they all do, and that includes Billy and Wendy and Bob Hunt. They all just nature of the beast. It's the wood. It's the way it is. So tomorrow night we'll see if we can't get some more ribs in. I need to punch hole. This one gets cut out, so we're not too worried about this one. It gets cut off at the spar. This rib gets opened up. There'll be a 1/8 by 1 inch compression spar right in the center. I laid this wing out that the spar itself runs parallel to the trailing edge, meaning that it's a straight line from tip to tip instead of angled like they laid it out. This will make a lot stronger wing with this box construction up here, and then a straight spar. If I had some toe here, I could even lay toe in it, but there's really not any need for that. I mean, there's just not that much pressure. It's how much do you absolutely have to have? So we won't worry about that. I still think what's going to happen right here is I'm going to be able to see those two ribs. Get that starved horse look. I hate that. So, till tomorrow night. Like, subscribe, share the videos. Any questions, ask me on Stunhanger. Ask me here in the description, or in the comments box. Send me an email, whatever. I'll answer. Till I see you again. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.